Welcome back to Knack 2, and this time we have yet another guest, Pixy, one of the developers from Freedom Planet.
You may remember her from our E3 commentaries and some of our older stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we
And
also
Freedom
brought
Planet 2 coming
Pixie,
out.
And Pixy,
And now just like Knack, I'm back, baby.
Yeah, here she is.
For context, everybody, Pixie here is a big Donkey fan, so obviously she has a lot of familiarity with Knack.
And Pixie's also something of a, well, okay, more so a game sprite dev, but she still has some experience in the game dev stuff, so,
Also,
you know,
great,
all the
great,
know-how.
our clones actually use your own mode.
And they do it better than you. Hey, that sounds familiar. And of course, we also brought one of our favorite guest commentators from Blue Zone Cons, Dejimon.
Well, he's been here for a while already.
Exactly, what's the point?
Shameless plug.
So, let us begin this part by soldiering up the stairs and beating up the humans and... Pedro, how is this supposed to be exciting?
Kunais? Are you kidding me?
I love how the music is so dramatic, and this is the equivalent of, like, checkers.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember, Pixie, this game soundtrack suffers from rise of lyric syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
It's the
Also, I would
bland
argue
orchestra.
that chess is a lot more
And
fun.
Spider-Man PS4 does the same kind of thing.
Guys.
Excuse me, I happen to really love the soundtrack for Spider-Man PS4.
I can't remember a single song.
Well,
Different
maybe that's
strokes
you.
for different folks. Also, I love how Lucas throws in a line saying, "Oh, Xander's been using them as slaves." Isn't that cute, guys? The story's trying to make us care by pointing out that Xander now has slaves in his workforce. Or rather, he uses the clones as slaves, so are we supposed to care for the clones now?
I have no
You're
idea.
supposed to care about the clones the same way Lucas wanted you to care about
all I
the
can think
clones.
Oh, sorry.
Go on, Pix.
All I can think about is the plot for Sonic Colors.
Which did this better? And that was pretty much the equivalent of Sonic, The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, but modernized. Good job, Knack II. So, what are we doing now?
I just realized my microphone was up this whole time.
Oh, you sound
Now
much
it's better.
Actually, that's a good question, Pedro. What is Knack supposed to do at this point?
Try to get out of here and defeat Xander?
So,
But how? He still has the old spark, so...
I don't know. Tell you, I'm not writing this. Like,
so you know, Pitts. I know that you haven't seen the majority of this game. Well, congrats. This is pretty much what we've been doing for the majority of the second half of this game's plot.
I got a PS4, and like,
Oh,
Knack 1 comes with it for free. So like,
Oh,
I
you
got
got
to
a
play
bundle
that
one.
like just for the. I got to play that just for the meme value, and oh my god, I was so bored.
oh, how lucky you! You got one of the bundles with Knack.
Yeah.
No, I didn't pay for it. It was free.
It's funny you
I
mention that
mean-
because Pedro didn't pay
Well,
for
Pedro
this
didn't
copy.
pay for this one either.
Pedro, why don't you tell her the endearing story? And Lucas, how did you get there ahead of us?
Teleportation already.
yes.
Okay, Pedro, your enthralling tale about how you got this game scot-free.
Well, we already said this, but sure, might as well since something's going on. Sony of Europe had the wonderful idea of making this game free on the PlayStation Store for the first 2 hours of its launch.
They
So
did
It was a
that.
complete accident, but
Yeah.
It was a complete accident, and as a result, a lot of people got it for free. Me included. When I first saw an SSMB that everybody was saying, "Oh, Knack 2 is available for free on the store," I immediately jumped on the store and I got it. So there you
Nice.
go. Thanks,
you got
Sony
it for
the
free
copy.
and still perfectly legal.
Huh, imagine that. Sony messing up with their infrastructure.
Wait, that's absolutely...
I mean, why would you pay money for this? Like, Sony doesn't seem to realize that all the memes about Knack are completely ironic.
Yeah, that's
It's
the thing.
because,
Even Mark
it's because of
Cerny's in on the
Mark
joke.
Cerny, Pixie. Mark Cerny's reward for making the PS4 a big success is that he gets to make his passion project, which in this case is Knack.
This is his passion project. Are you kidding me?
I know how you feel, Pix. Like,
Also,
Well,
This
Here's
is how
the
I
thing.
feel about every time Ken Penders talks about the Lars.
Well, here's the thing, Pixie. Even if you're passionate about a project, that doesn't automatically guarantee it will be good because incompetence is also a factor.
No, I mean, like, this is so, like, corporate. This isn't a passion project.
Well, that's the thing, Pixie. When you see him in interviews, he's always very nice and always very giddy to talk about Knack.
I can
So-
believe that Mark is definitely a nice guy. What I can also believe is that Sony might be pulling some strings here and there. They're not exactly above that. Let's not forget with the original Knack, Sony was doing everything they could to white knight Knack 1.
Yeah, no.
And
Pedro,
one hit kill.
that's not
There you go,
ridiculous.
Knack, the bold brave hero was defeated by...
Spears?
Batons.
our hero?
You're supposed to basically refreeze the mechanism once the batons are in a better position.
I mean,
No
on the
backseat
bright
gaming.
side, he
There you
has Wolverine claws.
City looks pretty much the same.
Ice is nice.
Thank you for pointing that out, Lucas.
They brought back Wolverine in the comics, and apparently he has fire claws now or something like that.
Oh, how'd they bring him back from the dead this time?
I don't know.
With the
So-
Dragon Balls.
Well, okay,
I mean,
okay,
I
okay.
read the comics.
Okay.
Could
So
have
I
been the Phoenix Force, I guess.
Okay. So X-23 got to be the official Wolverine for how long?
A year.
I think. Which is a shame because, you know, in terms of actual replacements, she was one of the better ones, unlike Rory Williams.
Ooh.
Basically Iron
Repla-
Maiden.
Yeah, replacement Iron Man.
Oh.
Basically,
yeah, right.
basically, Dads, Rory Williams is the cringeworthy version of Miles Morales. Whereas Miles Morales is a genuine good replacement in a lot of articles.
Excuse me, did you just open a loot box?
Yes.
It's funny. Oh my god, yeah, that's exactly what they are. They're random.
To be fair, the
You
game, is
opened a
not,
freaking loot box.
the game doesn't even ask you to pay real money.
Exactly. So it's
What?
just
Okay.
random. Nice.
It's RNG box.
I would like to believe that they're at least a little self-aware that nobody would actually pay money in Knack outside of the base game, if anything.
Pixie, I got some bad news for you. Sony lauded the fact that the first Knack game sold better than Super Mario 3D World for about a week or a month in the UK.
Okay, for two
I
reasons.
keep telling you, ignore us, please.
For two reasons. One, everyone there has a dry sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna just buy it with a straight face.
And you know,
Yeah,
it's kind of
she's right.
anti-Nintendo
We all
territory
need
out
to ignore
there.
the UK. Well, remember, we all need to ignore the UK because in
Brexit.
the same week that Ni no Kuni 2 and A Way Out came out, the UK was just buying CFEs. for
Hey,
some reason.
Pedro, let's not forget how the UK gave David Cage awards over games like, you know, Super Mario Galaxy 2 and Bouts of
Red
Innovation.
Redemption,
Oh,
Mass
Guys,
Effect 2.
and apparently they beat Bioshock 2 in terms of storytelling.
and
Yes,
then
Pixie?
reason number two, obviously the memes. You know, people have to get in on that.
That's the
And
thing.
then-
It seems like Sony were the only people who didn't get the memo about the memes. Like, even Mark
Wait.
Cerny got the memo.
That's exactly what I said before, though.
To
Remember?
go to what Pedro said, you have to forgive the UK. They obviously need to play something on their Xbox One.
And then reason number three would be because, like, what was it? Was it Knack 1 or Knack 2 that you said outsold Super Mario Brothers
Knack 1.
3D World for 1 month.
3 World?
And that was
3D
just
World.
1 month at best.
Okay. Well, they were trying to hype up Knack like crazy
Yes.
on the launch of the PS3.
PS4.
Four.
Was it really the
I know.
PS4?
I know
Yeah,
it looks like a
I remember
PS3
It doesn't
game.
look like it, does it?
I know it looks like a
No.
PS3 game, but yes, this is a PS4 game. Remember, the most important thing is that you can render all these particle bits of Knack.
Okay, but I know you're playing Knack 2 because I snack.
Actually, Ice Knack is in the first Knack, but Ice Knack is useless in that. Hey,
Hang on, Pedro. Do his couch co-op move.
Oh.
You need it to get through here.
The local co-op in this game is very generic, and the game itself doesn't even acknowledge it, story-wise.
Yeah, it's clearly just tacked on.
So, I guess
There you go, you're supposed to
conveniently-
freeze the mechanism here.
But uh-oh, it looks like the ice is melting over time, or did it just get smaller?
I'm telling you, you need that move to get through here.
Hey! Well, look at the bright side, Pix. At least Ice Knack actually has a use, because believe it or not, in the first Knack game, Ice Knack did nothing except give you it gave you a longer health
Wait.
bar and a weakness to fire.
Excuse me, Ice Knack was in the first game, and they featured it in Knack 2 as like a new thing.
But don't you see, Pixie? Now Ice Knack actually has freezing abilities.
So basically, now he's actually useful-ish.
To quote Dark Lord Jodo 1, so congratulations, it took you 2 games to have the ice form freeze people. In fact, actually, it took you 2 games to have the ice form do something.
I mean, the only thing the ice form did in the first game was make you weak to sunlight. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, basically it was more like a detriment than anything.
That's what,
What did
all
we
the,
expect?
that's what all the power-ups except Stealth Knack were like, and God help me whenever I hear a joke about Stealth Knack.
Really, Knack? Anything but... He's got a million pieces that clack together, and then he's like the size of a mountain troll.
Hold on.
Okay, we clearly have him cornered. Let's not even let him
Okay,
give the
we can
speech.
talk. We can reason with him, right, Taylor?
No.
Before things began
Just
to get a
squash
little
him already.
crazy.
He's got baby
Back when you
hands.
wanted to rule the world. After I thought it
Look
through,
at
I
those.
realized
Wait,
it'd be
what?
Too much
No,
trouble,
no,
really.
you don't get to change your goalposts.
Actually, you gave me an idea, Lucas. You and that little plane of yours.
You're gonna slingshot
I'm
something?
trying to add drama into Knack.
Parts is really clever. But if you're going to do it the right way.
When does this become the plot of Iron Man 2?
The Armageddon.
Oh my god.
Wow, this literally is the plot
Wait,
of
what
Iron
was the
Man
plot
2.
to Iron Man 2 again?
Eh.
Completely forgot.
Behold Tail, the giant
Wait,
mechanical
wait.
Okay, so now it's Wild Wild West.
Oh my god.
Wait, so... Okay, so now Xander...
Taylor, now it's my turn to ask it. Are we sure this is not a comedy?
What happened?
Also, I love how Knack just says, "Are you mad?" And he's like, "Maybe."
So...
That was actually kind of funny, but
You
it's
know.
it's like he's a completely
Wait, why
different
does
character.
he just use it on him right now?
Rule the world.
Oh no, a relic, which Knack is made entirely of.
Actually, Pixie, that's not in Relic. That's the Allspark. Basically,
It's called
It looks
the
exactly like the relics on Knack. Sue me.
You see, Pixie, it's officially called the Artifact. That's it, the Artifact.
Also, to answer your question, Deji, this is another one in the list of evil villain cliches. He's got a monologue. He can't just do it right now.
But he can do it while he's monologuing. It's not
Let
like
me
that
That's not how
is-
this works.
Oh my god! Now he's turning to a generic "I
my
want
God.
technology is bad" villain.
So...
This was cliche in like 2004 when The Incredibles pointed.
Oh, and he literally has some hostage.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Oh, God.
Pedro.
Wow,
Pedro.
speaking of incredible.
All right, Pedro.
I had everything I had to give.
Pedro.
I'm literally.
Also,
I had.
I forgot what I was saying.
Also, Doom was spelled with all capital letters. I wish I was playing Doom 2016.
Pedro.
Doom.
Just wait till Doom
Yes,
Eternal.
Jova.
Yes.
I'm gonna cash in my chip. I'm gonna cash in my chips now. Xander is a worse villain than Victor by far.
It's just he's less incompetent, but he's still stupider.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, really. It's amazing. He's a worse villain than Victor. Victor was consistent. Xander just has become a cartoon. And here's my question, Xander. Why all of a sudden the apocalypse? Like, why?
No, he doesn't even want. He doesn't even want the apocalypse. He just wants to restore humanity back to a primitive state.
Which involves an
So no
apocalypse.
technology. Basically, he's removing technology from the world. That's what he's wanting to do.
His plan makes no
Tio.
sense. and-
It's literally the Lord of Shadows. Apocalypse first, then humanity will revolve itself better, and all that jazz. But
Wait,
that's the...
what does Lord of Shadows have to do with that?
Don't you see, Tio? He literally calls it the Armageddon machine. Like,
Yeah, but Jova, what does your example has to do with Castlevania Lords of Shadow?
wait, what? No. Oh, my bad. I meant the League of Shadows.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, my bad. This game is messing with my brain. But yeah, I mean, okay, Victor was technically a more stupid villain, but Victor was more effective because Xander is just changing goalposts at this point. Again,
Pretty
his
much,
original thing was he wants to get revenge on modern humankind and teach them a lesson and bring them under his rule.
Wait, hang on. Don't let that ride. Revenge for what?
Oh, basically revenge for them forgetting about them because of the Goblin Wars, which was not even their fault. But I guess it's a
Goblin Wars.
misunderstanding.
The Crystal Wars, yeah.
Man,
Goblin
the
Wars.
villain of Kirby Star Allies had a better motive than this.
Yeah. And
Also, the music is so unfit.
not only that, Pixie, that was his first plan. Then his second plan turned into, I'm going to now conquer human... Well, not so much conquer, but I'm going to tear down cities. And now it's turned into, I'm going to pretty much destroy the world so we can remake it. Even
Pedro,
though
you learn
when you
new
get...
skills. Come on.
I think he forgot about
Pedro,
that
can you
because...
dodge?
I'm
No,
guessing
no,
that
it's
Pedro
very
was busy
dodge, but-
face palming after the
Guys!
stupidity.
I'm just imagining.
At this
I'm ju-
point, I just wanted the game to fucking end.
Although that does beg a good question, Pedro. Do the abilities you have actually legit help? Because that's the thing about a lot of the abilities
Some of
Knack's
them
got.
do. Some of them do, Joe, but like I've noticed.
Oh, I know. No,
And
no,
just-
no.
Yes, Pixie?
Oh, no, no.
I'm just imagining like right now like Knack doing all this stuff, and meanwhile like it cuts away to the hostages, and then the ones that are like tied to the beam overhead, they're like bored and swinging around.
Oh, oh yeah, that reminds me. By the way, Pixie, Ryder and Katrina became a couple off screen. Don't worry though, they're broken up.
Who? Literally who?
Remember, Jova, her knowledge of Knack is only extant to Donkey's videos.
Not
Oh.
exactly. I remember I've also played a little bit of Knack.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
hey,
But
Hey.
you don't really remember a lot of it, I'm
I don't
guessing.
care about any of the characters.
Fair enough.
you know what?
Nobody
you know what?
does, Pixie.
You know what,
Nobody
guys?
does.
We should follow Pixie's example. Clearly, she has the right idea here. Like, at this point, no, really, at this point, it makes sense. It hurts us more to care about the plot because clearly, what point is there in caring about what Xander wants to do? Xander is as random as the Joker, with even less sense than the Joker. Yes, that's
You
right. he
actually
makes-
care?
No, that's the thing. I am beyond caring. I care about as much that Knack apparently died, but no, he's back teleporting because there's no stakes in this game whatsoever. I mean,
Well, no. Like, also, what about the? Okay, they made such a big deal about de-emphasize jumps, and look at this. This is nothing but jumping.
oh, with bad perspective. Also, Pedro, you nearly died after you respawned there. That was dickish placement.
Japan Studio,
What happened?
you are aware that overhead camera perspectives exist, right?
Just sticks to Jerry.
What's an overhead?
Like even PUBG 3D got that down somehow.
Not necessarily, too. They can make 2D platformers like Puppeteer. It's
And
just
Gravity Rush knew all about overhead stuff. I mean,
Jova, and once again, that was Team Siren.
well, Japan Studio was involved. They should have learned. And like you said,
No, only after Gravity Rush 2, basically Team Siren got reincorporated in Japan Studio.
my point being is like, well, you think Japan Studio would have learned stuff. In fact, remember, Japan
Yeah, but here's
Studio were the
thing,
guys
this
who...
came out around the same year as Gravity Rush 2, so there probably wouldn't have been enough time for them to do this.
Gee, it's not like Knack 2 had enough time on the development table, eh, Pedro?
Also, Team Siren is not used to do.
We've already talked about this, though.
Are you kidding me? Like I can barely tell the difference between this game and Knack 1.
That's because there's very little difference, Pixie.
That's
So, like,
kind
what
of
about-
bad.
Yeah.
What about development time? I'm sorry?
3 years. 3 years they had to work on this.
No.
game.
They did nothing. They just they just made up a new plot. You're telling me that took 3 years?
Excuse me, Pixie, but actually the level design is clearly there's a lot more platforming, whereas in the first game
Wait.
there was no
Why-
platforming.
Pedro,
So-
what do the Aquaretic do?
Why are you imitating Todd Howard? He had nothing to do with this game.
Hey, that's an insult to Todd Howard.
Is it?
Yeah,
please play
at least
Skyrim.
Todd Howard actually has a good resume.
No, he
in games.
sounds just like that though.
I
But anyway,
have no
Pedro,
idea
what
what's
do the
going on.
Aquaretic do?
I forgot. And
Let me guess, they increase your
I don't
defense
even-
because
to be
water
honest,
and all
Teo, I
that.
stopped caring. Honestly, Teo, I don't think I even read that. At this
Ouch.
point, I just wanted the game to freaking end.
I mean,
So you're not going to do a fast forward option?
Well, no, I mean, if I fast forward for all the boring parts, I'll just skip the entire playthrough.
yeah, that's the
Damn.
thing. For a game that prides itself on supposedly being story-based, and trust me, Knack does try to convince you that there's a deep story at play,
Xander must be
there
using
is
the
a
same
lot of
cloaking
padding. I mean, sure, we
technology
do
high
get
goblins
in-game
used on their
dialogue,
city.
which is there. It's there.
Oh no. Oh, you actually bought into it?
No. Pix.
Okay.
I never
Pixie, he's
bought
being,
into
Pixie,
it.
he's being sarcastic. Come on, go ahead.
Sorry.
Look, Pix. The minute I saw Knack, I always had red alerts in my brain. Now, granted, yeah, I mean, I'll be quite honest.
That's fair.
I mean,
That's totally Pedro's fault. Totally.
Go ahead.
I mean, that's the thing.
Don't
It's
you
like,
love
well,
that?
from the
Don't
minute.
you?
Oh wow, God, that platforming. And you know what's a shame is like, well, okay, Pix. There's actually a part that had legit pretty good platforming. Essentially a part where you have to climb up a scaling robot.
It was
Kind of
basically
like
a little
Shadow of the
throwback to
Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah. Basically,
Which
that's
I
what it-
haven't played.
Oh, you
But I'm
should.
gonna.
It's an awesome game.
I'm gonna.
You should.
I played a lot of new games recently, actually.
Whatever you do, try and go into it spoiler free.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm asking you to not like spoil anything, please.
No problem.
No.
But
Well,
yeah,
there are
going-
Colossi in it.
I know the perfect way. Let's go back to talking about this game, bad as it is. Okay, so yeah, the minute I saw the first Knack game, something about it struck me as iffy. Now, yeah, maybe it had to do with the fact that they were touting this as clearly the new Crash Bandicoot because, well, just looking at you, it's clearly
Yeah.
meant to be a Crash Bandicoot knockoff.
And in the interviews, like, what's his name was like, you had to make like so many jumps in the Crash games, and yeah, that's just not something that people can do. It's like, people
That's
did
not
it.
concerning, yeah.
People did it.
Once Xander gets
Yeah, that's a thing with Knack. It seems to run on this delusion that people find platforming too hard.
Then why make a platforming game? It makes
I
no
don't.
sense.
Well, that was the idea of the first game, Pixie. But then when people complained that there was no platforming, that's why they incorporated more platforming in this one.
But don't worry, just
okay,
in case
so
it's,
this.
don't worry, just in case it's too hard, we have plenty of ways to make it so that you will
Cutscene.
never die.
Okay, so
So it's not even like.
He is literally riding his evil Zeppelin into his evil doomsday device.
It's not, but it's not even a passion project anymore because, like, oh no, we gotta listen to the fans, change up the base gameplay
Oh.
for Knack because it sucks.
Oh, Pedro, it's the Tesseract now.
You said that though.
It's the plot MacGuffin that does whatever the hell the plot wants.
also
It's
let me
the
let me
Phantom
understand.
Ruby.
Also, let me understand this. We managed to build this spider thing in 3 months.
Yes, apparently.
Jesus
Hey,
Christ, I think
moves fast.
I think even the Empire from
really
Star
looks- it
Wars
really
will be
does
calling
look like-
BS on that.
It really does look like the thing from Wild Wild West.
Oh
Fucking
my
hell.
Yeah.
God.
Yep.
So
Hey guys, did you know that Will Smith turned down the role for playing Neo in The Matrix so he can play Wild Wild West?
Really?
Yes.
Well, okay.
Jim West, you mean? No, his name isn't Wild Wild West. That's not.
I said
Oh,
so
God.
he can be in Wild Wild West.
Okay, I just thought it was funny.
You know, I do have to wonder if that was a good thing or a bad thing, because don't get me wrong, the first Matrix was all popular, but seeing what the Matrix trilogy as a whole did to Keanu Reeves' career, maybe
Nah,
Will Smith dodged the bullet.
Maybe he dodged a bullet. Yeah.
Did it really affect his career?
Dead. What?
Let's
think about it, Dead. After the Matrix trilogy, what did Keanu Reeves really get to do aside from stuff like John Wick?
John Wick.
But aside from John Wick, all people remember him for is, well,
And that's it.
wait,
Bill and Ted.
wait. The evil doomsday robot, and it's that easy to get in by using Wile E. Coyote logic? What is this game, Pedro?
This game is fantastic if you just like turn your brain off.
It's a
Just
cartoon.
don't
It's a cartoon, Joe. This game is a cartoon, and
Okay, wait. Just because it's a cartoon, I think it still shouldn't ignore its own rules
It's
it's
a
established.
It's a cartoon disguised
me
as a
rephrase that.
Transformers anime.
let me
Oh
rephrase
no,
that
guys,
to sorry,
guys, oh
Deji.
no, the village.
Hang on, Pedro's trying to say something.
Let me rephrase that, Deji. It's a cartoon that's trying to take itself way too seriously.
Oh my god, are we getting a throwback to the actual good platforming with the robot now?
Yeah. There you go. This is what I was talking about 2 parts ago. Basically, much like in the city with the giant robot, basically we have to once again use exhaust
Scale it.
pipes and all that shit and jump all of these platforms to try to climb to the top of this thing.
Hey guys,
So.
Yes?
Dun, 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 dun.
I wonder if the villain this time is just like, dang, I designed this thing to be jumped up like a platform game.
Yeah.
And then like in the next game he's like, this time I won't do that. And then like
There,
everything
tell me if you
slopes
see
and you
any-
literally can't get up and you just the game ends.
Oh wow.
I think we need
That's
to use the sword to illuminate those.
Because literally, the only thing that is allowing you to get up this robot is
The platform.
yeah. Thank you.
Guys, humanity huddles in its filthy, overcrowded cities. Now he's Thanos.
Hang on. Also, he's Otto from Wally.
Jova. Mark couldn't decide which kind of villain he wanted, so he just made all of them.
But how did he predict Thanos? Because now Xander's talking about overpopulation.
Which is not
Oh
even
my
true.
God.
because-
But you see, Jova, Infinity War ripped Knack II off.
So
Which
it
is
made
not
it
even
better.
true, considering we're supposed to be already like an almost apocalyptic world where humanity is on its last legs. So
So
No,
the
oh.
Russo brothers took inspiration from.
Actually,
that.
the Russos didn't write it. It was Stephen McFeely and Christopher Mark,
I
Oh,
love how
I
the game
apologize.
forces you to drop all of your relics.
aka the writers of the Captain America.
Well,
trilogy.
okay, Pixie. To its credit, it's not as stupid in the first Knack where whenever you dropped relics, that was it. They were pretty much gone.
Oh, trust me, I remember that.
Yeah, here you can actually switch sizes between them. Again, the issue is like, well, unfortunately, Knack will not get to be as big as he got to be in the first game. But at least you get to switch sizes.
Oh no.
I
Well,
do
that's
like
not-
this part. It's
Yeah.
it kind of works like a Shadow of the Colossus type of thing, where you're kind of and the platforming here is fine, honestly.
Yeah, it's fine, and actually,
Except for that part where it insta kills
how
me. But
were... Oh, okay, I guess you get crushed in there, but... that's
Basically,
some-
I wasn't supposed to go through there yet. I just wish
It's-
the game. Now I have to. Now I can.
It's a garbage compactor, and you're made of garbage.
See, the problem with that is, like, well, from the perspective of the camera there, it looks like it's gates as opposed to an actual crusher.
Okay,
Yeah.
that time, speaking of camera changes, that time actually put like an overhead camera when it didn't matter.
Oh, Pixie, this
This is
game is
basically-
chock
oh,
full of terrible camera angles and changes.
You know, I'm starting to think that maybe Knack is just an amalgamation of ideas that weren't fully put together.
Just
Yeah,
like
like the-
Knack.
Yeah, just like the first game. And this was supposed to be the game that Lucas just fixed to play.
No, I'm saying just like Knack himself. He's an amalgamation of ideas that never quite came together.
Well, that's the
This
thing,
feels a lot
Pixie.
like-
Originally, he was a glorified tech demo for the PS4.
This was a lot like what would happen if Shadow of the Colossus was a sci-fi game of sorts, like where you were climbing through a giant robot instead of a giant creature.
But it would be
Hey!
much more interesting to do.
Maybe that's my
Also-
idea for a
Yeah,
spiritual
well,
successor. Hey, Fumitueda.
Also, even if they made it cheesy, it would still be
Well,
better than
actually,
this.
Well, actually, Jova, for me to Ueda said that now that since Last Guardian was a successor to Eco, he actually hinted that his next game might be a successor to Shadow of the Colossus. So apparently this is his pattern. First a linear game, then an open world game, then another linear. Basically, he alternates apparently.
So we'll be waiting for half a decade.
Nah, most likely not, because now he has his own development studio, so he'll be completely more in control.
Oh, Last Guardian.
So why did Last Guardian take so long? I'm honest.
It's two things. Different priorities in the studio, and the fact that the AI of Trico took a long time to program, because in order to program Trico to properly react to every single possible thing that the player can do in that game, it took a shit ton of long time encoding. Because trust me, the reactions Trico has in that game are so many that
He's like a realistic puppy,
Aw.
and it's great.
Yeah.
That's
But anyway-
understandable.
we're not talking about that though. So moving on to the next time, everybody, for the epic finale? Question mark.
Mark.
See ya.
Mark. See ya.
Ta-ta.
Yeah.